How are we doing, guys? So welcome to a new series, the Premier League Review Show. So last season, as you'll remember, we did a Championship Roundup show each week, just reviewing the Championship's results. This week, and throughout the season, it's pretty much going to be the same thing, reviewing the Premier League results from the weekend, other than the Leeds game. So there's 5 games to go through. In fact, there might be more than that. But anyway, guys, we'll go through all the results and a general analysis of the game. So to start off with, Fulham 0, Arsenal 3. So the first game of the Premier League season was an absolute cracker from an Arsenal perspective. I thought Arsenal were absolutely outstanding in this game. You start to really see Mikel Arteta's philosophy at the football club start to really come to fruition. So the debutants, Willian and Gabriel, were absolutely outstanding for Arsenal. Willian playing on the right-hand side, getting 2 assists in this game. Absolutely ran riot on the right-hand side for me in the game. Probably man the match. Gabriel at centre-back in the back 3 looks absolutely outstanding as well. Okay, I know it's only against Fulham so far, but from seeing Arsenal in this game, I thought they were super impressive. I think the third goal in particular, is absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable build-up play. It's literally 1-2 touches out the back. Ball goes into Willian, lovely bit of skill down the right-hand side. He plays a lovely cross-field ball into Aubameyang, and it's 3-0, and Arsenal absolutely dominate the game. I think Fulham had about 3 or 4 shots at most in the whole game, and they looked very toothless going forward. A very big surprise not seeing Alexander Mitrovic start this game. Massive surprise that. He came on with half an hour to go because Kamara just didn't look up to the sort of centre-forwards role. I think you look at Mitrovic and think at least that's a chance of getting goals, in this Fulham team. But yeah, I think it very much looked like a newly promoted side versus a side that's definitely going to be pushing for the top 4 this season in the game. I think Arsenal with the 3-4-3 have got a team that's really well balanced. I think Granit Xhaka in midfield has massively improved. And obviously got the front 3 of Willian, Lacazette, Aubameyang, which is a top quality front 3 for any team in this league, to be fair. I think especially Willian, Aubameyang, there's goals, there's pace, there's creativity. Lacazette as well, kind of playing as a false 9. He got himself a goal too. And it was just a very impressive performance from Arsenal all round, really. The debutant scores, the other debutant gets 2 assists. Aubameyang, Lacazette score. It's a well-balanced team, this one. Kieran Tierney, played at left centre-back like he has done quite a bit for Arsenal this season and was solid. And to be fair, it was a very unlike Arsenal performance from what I've got used to over the last couple of years. But it definitely feels like Arsenal, with a couple more signings, are definitely kind of on their way back as such. So that's the review on that one anyway. Fulham 0, Arsenal 3. Next result to go to, there was a big request for me to talk about Everton's debutants. So let's talk about Tottenham 0, Everton 1. Absolutely massive win for Carlo Ancelotti in this game. And yeah, let's talk about the positives first of all. Everton's performance was absolutely outstanding. James Rodriguez just looked out this world in the game. He was getting on the ball all the time. He was playing like a free number 10. You were playing a 4-3-1-2 Everton. And very much had it's one of the 4-1-3-2 was James Rodriguez. He had that freedom to drift anywhere on the pitch he wanted to, almost like we've seen him do for Colombia at the World Cups some years ago. And it just looks like a top signing this from Everton. He was getting on the ball, spraying passes, running at Tottenham, and he just looks like a threat every single time he got on the ball. So it was a fantastic performance from him. It was a fantastic performance from Everton because I don't even think James necessarily stood out compared to Alan. Doucouré, I thought they looked absolutely massively solidified Everton's midfield. And Everton's midfield was pretty garbage last season, if we're being honest. But I think the 3 signings they've made, especially those 2 in midfield, is going to massively reinforce their midfield. You got Doucouré, top quality box-to-box player. Alan, who's been playing in Serie A for Napoli for the last 2 or 3 years and has been absolutely outstanding in holding midfield. It really solidifies Everton's midfield. And still look at the back 4. Seamus Coleman, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, Lucas Digne. Yeah, Seamus Coleman, Lucas Digne, good going forward. But for me, Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, not particularly strong centre-backs for me. I think they're okay, but I think they have got errors in them. And when you've got a midfield that protects them so well, Doucouré, Alan, I think it massively lessens that blow to an extent. I think it does give Everton a much bigger basis to win football matches, and there's no bigger basis than winning at Tottenham. This wasn't a very un-Everton-like win. We've got so used to Everton for the last 10, 15 years of not winning these games or even competing in these games against the top 6 away from home, and they more than competed today. They outplayed Tottenham for large periods of the game. Richarlison's had numerous chances. He's rounded the keeper on one. and just pulled it wide, an open goal, very unlike Richarlison. Frustrating because he is in the fantasy football team as well, so I was frustrated with that. He missed a great chance in the back post too, and Tottenham just looked all over the place in the game. We had Toby Alderweireld and Eric Dyer playing at the back, it's a centre-back pairing. Look at Toby Alderweireld, obviously still a top-quality defender, but there's not much pace in that back two. I think any kind of runs down the channels, and you're kind of moving, Alderweireld or Dyer out of position, Tottenham look all over the place in terms of shape. Although they have signed Matt Doherty, who was okay for me at right back, being linked with Sergio Reguilon from Sevilla, and of course Gareth Bale as well are being linked with too. But I think it definitely looks like that Tottenham team needs new signings. I think Højbjerg did okay in midfield, but it wasn't a massively convincing performance from Tottenham at all. I think Kane, Son, Ali, Moura, when you got a front four like that and you're not able to sort of create any clear-cut chances or even get the ball into them, there's concern there for me. And I looked at Tottenham even before the season, and I wasn't really seeing a team that's going to push for the top four. I know they finished last season quite well. There's still a lot to sort out at Tottenham there. I think they've still got problems at the base of the field. Who partners Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I think centre-back, definitely need a centre-back in there. And look, they probably are going to get a left-back in Reguilon, but there's still a lot there for Tottenham that they need to work on as well. And I think it'll be a very disappointing performance if you Jose Mourinho. Not the start he wanted at all, but Carlo Ancelotti completely out-tactics Mourinho. He outnumbered him in midfield with a 3 versus 2. Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin were just making so many runs that just kind of split the centre-backs, got in behind the centre-backs with absolute ease. How many times did Richarlison get in behind Alderweireld? Dominic Calvert-Lewin was causing absolute danger throughout the game too, and he managed to get the full-backs up too. So it really was a great performance from Everton this. Whether they can push for the top 6, because you look at it purely from this game, who looked the better team between Everton and Tottenham, it was clearly Everton. But look, it's one game in. We've seen Everton do this before, make great starts and kind of fall away. Let's not get too carried away yet with Everton. Need to see them play a few more games, maybe against lower blocks, and see if they can break them down, or against teams that can counter-attack well and if they can stop them. For me, there's still a lot to see with Everton before we get too carried away, but they've got a top-quality manager in there, being Carlo Ancelotti. So the next game to look at, Brighton 1, Chelsea 3. So Frank Lampard's Chelsea win their first game of the season. But if I'm being honest, it wasn't a convincing one from Chelsea at all in the game. I think Brighton more than merited something from it. Look at the goals Chelsea scored. One's come from a back pass, an awful error in the build-up from Brighton. I think it's Steven Alzalti. It's giving it straight to Timo Werner, probably one of the last players in the league you want to give it away to on a counter-attack. He's just burst through in on goal. He's rounded the keeper. He's been taken out. It's a clear penalty all day long. Jorginho scores it, and Chelsea are 1-up in the game. And at that point, you think Chelsea are probably going to run away with it. But Brighton, were still in it. They had some good chances in that first half. Neil Maupay has had one from sort of 6 yards out, but it's hit his shoulder. Fantastic ball in off Tariq Lamptey, the former Chelsea man too. They had another one as well, which I think was blocked. And then they had one right at the start of the second half, and Lewis Dunk on the back post. Massive chance. Lewis Dunk, how many headers does he score? He misses it. He's put it well wide. And you think that's probably Brighton's chances, but they then have a shot from distance. Leandro Trossard, awful mistake off Kepa Arrizabalaga, a keeper who's under a lot of scrutiny, and has a 53% save ratio last season. So, as a lot of people were saying before the game, you toss a coin, and if it lands on heads or tails, one of them, Kepa's going to concede. I don't know if I've sort of said that analogy very well, but it's literally a toss of a coin whenever someone has a shot at Kepa Arrizabalaga, whether it's going to go in or not. So that is absolutely shocking, really, for such an expensive goalkeeper. They are linked with Edouard Mendy in goal. It looks like they are going to sign him. I think that probably has sped up the process that game as well. But they've got a massive game, Chelsea, coming up against Liverpool at the weekend, and they're going to have to be a lot better than they were yesterday to get anything from that game. You look at the way they defended, how many chances they gave to Brighton, albeit, yes, it was a Chelsea team that wasn't at full strength. They had Mason Mount, Kai Havertz playing out wide, 2 number 10s. It never looked right at all for balance. Ruben Loftus-Cheek looked like he was playing in the 10 role. It looked so imbalanced. And to be fair, Frank Lampard's got a bit of criticism for this game, despite Chelsea winning the match. Trossard scores for Brighton. Then the fantastic and absolutely outstanding goal, probably goal of the week by quite some distance, from Reece James. He's just absolutely smashed it from 30 yards to the right back of the net. Chelsea 2-1 up. And then they get another goal later on in the game from Kurt Zouma. But I think Brighton, especially if we're on Ben White watch, I think he did a fantastic job on Timo Werner for most of the game. Werner made a couple of runs, in behind, but I think they did really well, Brighton, to be fair. I think you look at what Brighton did, and I think the game plan was solid, 3-1-4-2. They pressed Chelsea well, and they looked more than a match for Chelsea for much of the game. Ultimately, the quality told at the end of the day. But yeah, I think it's encouraging for Brighton, and maybe Chelsea might have to assess things a little bit, how they're going to fit in all these new signings, albeit we didn't see Ziyech yet. And obviously Pulisic was out injured too, so it'd be interesting to see how it all comes together at Chelsea. Again, this is a non-biased point of view. I hope it falls to pieces, guys. I hope it falls to pieces. Purely non-biased point of view, it will be genuinely interesting to see if Chelsea can squeeze all these players into a front four. I'm not convinced so far. It looked like Kai Havertz and Mason Mount didn't suit playing with each other. Ruben Loftus-Cheek just didn't look in the correct position at all. And Timo Werner didn't get any service in that first game. And yeah, it was an interesting one from that point of view. So next game to look at, West Ham 0, Newcastle 2, a potential bottom of the table clash. A clash that could have a massive impact at the end of the season in terms of the points taken in this one. And as you can see by the league table and the result down below, West Ham lost this one. And West Ham were pretty shocking throughout the game. And it's amazing how West Ham can create so little. And they've got a front three of Bowen, Antonio, Fornals, Souček, and then you've got options like Haller off the bench. Haller could probably have started this game, but West Ham were shocking. And to be fair, Steve Bruce took a lot of criticism at Newcastle, but he got his tactics spot on in this one. He went with a 4-4-2, and the two strikers, Carroll, Wilson, they look like a really good, sort of classic, sort of early 2000s big man, little man combination. Andy Carroll winning the headers, Callum Wilson just making the runs in behind. We've seen it before, sort of the Crouch Defoe kind of dynamic. We've seen this before, this kind of dynamic. Well, not for a while, to be fair, but it did have that kind of feel to it. The one person winning the headers, one person making runs in behind, and Callum Wilson scores in the game as well. And Newcastle looked good in this game, but again, whether it was Newcastle being very good or West Ham being really poor, I don't know. I think it's probably a bit too early to say on either score yet. But yeah, I think this will be a very disappointing one from West Ham. I think it was a big opportunity for them to make a good start to the season because they had a pretty shocking pre-season in terms of losing Grady Dean Garner, losing 5-3 to Bournemouth as well in a friendly. So yeah, I think it was kind of the result David Moyes exactly didn't need. But yeah, big questions at West Ham. How they are making football look so difficult when they've got so much talent at the top end of the pitch. Obviously, you've got Mark Noble in midfield, who I think is still a decent player. Obviously, the back four definitely needs work. But yeah, I don't think there's any excuse for West Ham not playing better football at the very least if they can't get the results. I can't see how you can't get the best out of those attacking options that West Ham have got. So that was that result anyway. So let's go to West Brom 0, Leicester 3. So another Premier League debutants to talk about, West Brom. Yeah, this is a strange game, this, because I think for the first hour or so, watching it back, it looked like Leicester were struggling to break down West Brom. They went with a very compact 5-4-1, West Brom, very, very compact. We weren't used to seeing this from West Brom in the Championship. They were very much attack. But in this game, they sat back and looked, to be fair, Leicester were a top quality team. It was understandable. And for 60 minutes of this game, it worked absolutely fine. West Brom kept it really tight. Leicester were struggling to play through them, but ultimately 2 penalties from Jamie Vardy it changed the whole dynamic of the game, really. And I think as soon as Leicester score, West Brom have to sort of push up, and they'll just leave so many spaces in behind. And Leicester, Vardy, Perez, Barnes, if you leave West Brom space and Leicester space in behind on the counter attack, you're going to get punished, and that's what happened. James Maddison didn't start this game for Leicester. Wilfred Ndidi was playing centre back. Obviously, Ricardo Pereira's out at the minute, and that's very encouraging for Leicester to win a game against a low block, create chances, look good in the game. Maybe after the hour they start to really play with freedom and start to sort of find spaces. But for me, Leicester were very encouraging. I think Brendan Rodgers is a top quality coach, top quality person as well. To be fair, I've met Brendan Rodgers a couple of times. When I think you look at Leicester and think, yeah, they're going to have another good season again. They have that many players missing and to win so comfortably. When you've got Jamie Vardy on the pitch, when you've got people like Maddison as well and Tielemans, you're going to create chances, you're going to score goals, you're going to be exciting to watch. But I think Soyuncu, very, very good centre back, and they've done well to keep hold of him. Obviously, they lost Ben Chilwell, but I think Castagne, who played at right back, I thought was absolutely outstanding. Got himself a goal too. And yeah, very encouraging performance from Leicester. I think they're going to have a good season, but I think for West Brom, definitely need to go back to the drawing board, have a little think. They've signed Branislav Ivanovic at right back. Whether that's going to be the right signing or not, I don't know. Obviously, you've got experience in the back line there. But again, quite a bit of a lack of pace in the back line. Ivanovic, Bartley, Kieran Gibbs, all players getting on a little bit now. But yeah, I think it's tough to judge West Brom too harshly on this game. They went in with a defensive mindset. Ultimately, they got punished and had to sort of push out, and it kind of didn't quite work from that game plan. But I think I saw from West Brom, I think they look better equipped than Fulham. I would like to think that in terms of Leeds' performance at the weekend, I think we do look better equipped than West Brom and Fulham. But I think West Brom definitely look like they've got something about them. I think Pereira, Dean Garner, that's a really good partnership for this level. Didn't really get the ball into them in this game, but I think they'll probably play a bit more expansively in the next match. I did thought so anyway. But yeah, that's the West Brom 0, Leicester City 3. So let's go to Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 0. So again, it was one of those games where you kind of thought Crystal Palace would drop back, Southampton would press, and would be very kind of open in how they played, and that was kind of how it played out. To be fair, Southampton just couldn't break down Palace. I think they had 70% of the ball, but it meant nothing. I think Southampton, Palace again set up in a 4-4-2. Both wingers dropped back, and it's so difficult to play through. It's very difficult to play through. And then when you've got Sahar, Townsend, Schlupp, Ayew, you've got a massive threat on the counter-attack, and that's ultimately how it played out. Wilfried Zaha gets the goal in this game, and Wilfried Zaha was just absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Again, I didn't see this game itself, just seen the highlights, but every single time Southampton kind of had Palace penned in, when it felt like it was a matter of time until they found a space and got a goal. The Palace just won the ball back, and they had Wilfried Zaha just on the counter-attack every single time. I've seen it mentioned before, Wilfried Zaha is Palace's most important player, not only going forward, but defensively, because he just gives Palace such a threat on the counter. When they're under a bit of pressure, they can just pass the ball to Zaha, and you just run with the ball 20, 30 yards without thinking about it. He had another chance late on in the game, some good Alex McCarthy saves, but yeah, Southampton just couldn't break through Palace. I think Palace, to be fair, tactically, we've got it spot on. They had 5 shots in the game, but they created some proper chances in it as well. I think stats can be misleading. 30% possession, 5 shots, you say it's a poor performance, but it was absolutely not that. Palace got it tactically spot on. So Palace win that game 1-0, and I think there's another game to look at as well. Yeah, Sheffield United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. So this game was on Monday at 6 o'clock. A bizarre kick-off time. Took a lot of adapting to get used to. But yeah, Wolves 2 up inside 6 minutes. Very unlike Sheffield United, the goals conceded. One's from a cross into the box, which is a fantastic cross, to be fair. I think it was off Marcel. The cross came in. It took 2 bounces in the box. I don't think there's anything really the Sheffield United defence can do about it. It's such a good cross into the box, and it's just fallen perfectly onto Raul Jimenez, one of the last players in the league you want it to fall onto. And he's just smashed it into the bottom, into the top corner. It's an absolutely outstanding finish from an absolutely outstanding player, and Wolves will do well to keep hold of him. I think he's an absolutely top-class player. He's Raul Jimenez, and he's just guaranteed goals at this level. And then they get the second goal, a corner. Again, you don't see Sheffield United concede many from corners. Rowan Saiz gets the head on it. There was question marks for Aaron Ramsdale, the debutant, whether he could have done better with the second goal. I think it's a little bit harsh. I think probably the top quality goalkeepers save it, but yeah, I think ultimately Sheffield United go 2 down in the game. The first half, they looked completely lacking in ideas, but in the second half, to be fair, they had a 10-15 minute spell, Sheffield United, where they hit the post. They had a decent chance, some good saves, to be fair. Patricio, where a lot of Sheffield United maybe might get back into the game, but ultimately Wolves took control again. They brought on Ruben Neves, they took control. It was a typical Wolves performance, very professional. They got the goals, a threat on the counter, Adama Traore, Raul Jimenez. The Traore was unbelievable. Like I said about Wilfried Zaha, massive threat on the counter-attack. Jimenez just holds the ball up really well, had a chance to make it 3, they missed it. But yeah, ultimately, it never really felt like Sheffield United were getting back into it, other than a 10-15 minute spell after half-time, but they had to score in that spell to really put pressure on Wolves, because Wolves, with 20 minutes to go in the football match, are not going to concede 2 goals. And one of the most professional teams that's seen out results under Nuno Espirito Santo. And again, Wolves, you look at, probably the most likely for me of the Premier League teams to break into the top 6 this season, or maybe into the top 4. Ultimately, there's still a long way to go in this season. You have to see how they get on in terms of injuries. But for me, Wolves have got a fantastic starting 11. And in fact, you didn't even see Ruben Neves or Diogo Jota start this game. Sums that up, really. Wolves are a massive team to watch, and not a game I'm looking forward to either. So that's the Premier League roundup anyway, guys. And that is pretty much everything to talk about. Obviously, you've got Arsenal's new signings, Everton's new signings, And no real hugely surprising results this weekend, other than maybe Everton winning at Tottenham. There was nothing that was hugely surprising so far. I suppose you could say Newcastle winning too, but it was a good weekend of football. I think you saw some really good football matches, and ultimately, it is the best league in the world, isn't it, at the end of the day? So make sure you check out these videos. We'll be doing it pretty much after every single Premier League match day, reviewing the weekend's results, all midweek if it's midweek. And get your comments in, anything you want different on the show. Just let us know what you think about this format, guys, and if you want to see this throughout the season. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I've been Oscar, and this has been the Premier League Review. See you later, guys.